On this episode of Street Rat Garage, getting back to the 1974 Apollo and seeing why it failed so miserably on Hot Rod Power Tour. So we got the car back home safe and sound without any other problems. It ran pretty good on the way back. Fortunately, we were interstate all the way and didn't have to do any stopping. So that was very helpful. It did not feel good on the suspension, the bumps and what have you, but we're going to go ahead and jack this up and see what kind of issues we are having. And ordered some parts. They should be in pretty soon here. See if we can't put this together so we don't have to put it away broken. All right, let's slide a couple of these jack stands under here before something breaks and it just falls on me or something. That should be good right there. Yep, it is still rusty underneath of here, but everything seems to be together. Let's jack up the other side and start poking around, see what we got going on. Okay, slide this other one under here real quick. Let this jack down. All right, down we go. It's just making all kinds of noise when I move it around. I think that part of the issue is, if you look here, this is where the front, well, the front of the back spring sort of bolts to the body. If I move it around, I mean, I can hear it creaking every time I move this from side to side. There's really not much holding this in. It's rusted all around there, and it's dropping down whenever I jack it up. You can see this rust here. This is all supposed to be solid all the way across, helping to support this this mounting bracket. So this is moving up and down, back and forth, and I believe that's where we were getting our sway from. The rear end just sort of moving around. We'll check the front. The front doesn't look too bad from here, where I put in those new mounts and the plates. Well, I'll take that back a little bit. This plate moved just a hair, but I don't think that caused our swaying issue. I'm pretty sure it's all right back here in the rear end. It's all just coming apart. So I think that was a good call not to continue on. What happens a lot of times on the Camaros and Novas, this area rusts out and this front of the spring just sort of shoots right up through the floorboard and causes you all kinds of problems. Okay, let's get this wheel off. Get this out of the way. Pull this off. Yep. There's still nothing in there like there was before. So if you did not see it before, I had a brake failure and I had to take everything out. Pretty much everything dropped out already, but the something happened and the brakes expanded and it just burned up the pads and dropped everything out. Matter of fact, here's everything that fell out. Everything was brand new. You can see there is nothing Nothing left. There's no pad left on these shoes at all. And all this hardware was brand new hardware, not the slack adjuster. But that slack adjuster doesn't turn very well either now. Yep, should have replaced this, but I don't think that was a failure. Yeah, the pins came out of the wheel cylinder, the pistons came out of the wheel cylinder, all that just exploded and dropped everything out of the bottom. So I believe this is what happened. There's a rubber line underneath the car like this one, and leave these sit too long and it will swell up inside. It's not very big orifice inside of there, so swells up, you push on the brakes, they expand out, there's not enough pressure to come all the way back in, so they're just hanging open a little bit and just barely dragging on the drum. So a few hundred miles later, when we got to Memphis, they just kept pushing out because the every time we stopped they push out and hang, push out and hang. So it was wearing these pads down to, you know, nothing. By the time we got there, the pads were gone and it was just metal on metal. So it pushed the cylinders out so far that the pistons dropped out, and this is a spring that goes inside the piston, so it just pushed out so much that it just popped everything out and everything just fell apart. That's when I had to add some more brake fluid. Every time I add brake fluid, it's just, you know, every time I stop it's coming out, but it's just giving me enough pressure to get back to the hotel, and that's when we capped off the lines and headed off to Nashville. So we'll verify it's this line, but I'm pretty sure it is. So I haven't even taken the driver's side off and looked at it. I imagine it's maybe in the same condition. There is still some brake dust on the outer rim, so I imagine that it's also been rubbing. Let's take this off real quick and have a look and see what we have on this side. Okay, there we go. And let's jump in here. Well, you come in here and have a look and you tell me what you think. Nothing fell out and everything appears to be in order, and as you can tell, there is plenty of meat on the shoes. All the way around, all the way around. Looking pretty good. I mean, there's some brake dust. About that much, maybe just a hair more than what I would really want to see. After going, what, I don't know, 1,000 miles, I would say. The springs are on there. Throw a little light on the situation there. So you can see the pin, the plungers are seated in there well. All the springs are seated properly. The crossbar is seated in there. The adjuster looks good. So, well, I guess we're good on this side. Figure out why one side was grabbing and the other side wasn't. So I'm under the rear end of the car and I'm going to show you the brake line tee that I was talking about. So the rubber line, this rubber line is what I was thinking that swelled up and caused brake pressure to come in but not go out. But if you can see it here, and if my camera cooperates, that goes into a T. This side goes to the driver's side, this side goes to the passenger side. This is the one I blocked off here. Now, if that was true, both lines should have pressure on them, causing both brakes, that side and that side, both to lock up. But as you saw, that side was fine and this side wasn't. So that is a little weird. maybe I messed something up when I assembled that side. I don't know. I'm going to take this apart and we're going to see if brake fluid comes out when I step on the brakes, and if both of them come out nice and strong, then we'll know we got another issue. Alright, I took the two lines off, actually the one line and the one block off, out, and I'm going to go ahead and press on the pedal and see if fluid just sort of squirts out. It should just shoot right on out of there. You want to see something funny before I do that? Look at this line. Just comes out, goes whoop, whoop. Yeah. So instead of cutting the brake line to length, you just go ahead and whoop-de-doo it and bend it, and yeah, you make it fit. This one is actually the same. It goes up, 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 and down. So I don't even have to replace this line. All I have to do is cut it back, put a new fitting on it because it's so long, and stretch it out to fit properly. I'll probably just leave that one alone because I'm lazy, just like the people that did this. Okay, I'm gonna go press on the brake pedal, and you tell me what happens there. So from what I could see on the video, it looked like it was only squirting out one side. That's probably what you saw too. That's weird. I'm not sure how that works. Maybe there's something wrong with the distribution block. I'm going to go ahead and plug that one line back in and hit it again and see if it comes out the other side. But I would have thought that it would have just shut out both sides. It came out of that passenger side, driver's side, pretty good, but I did not see anything shooting out the passenger side. So I went ahead and put that blocked off fitting on the other side. So driver's side is blocked off now, and it should just shoot right on out the passenger side. If it doesn't, yeah, there is a problem in the distribution part of that line. So let's have a look at that real quick. Now you should be able to see it just shoot out right here, right here, where there should shoot out right here, right on out there, if that works. If nothing shoots out or just drizzles out, then we know what the problem is. Now if it shoots out, then there's another issue. So after reviewing the video, I would say that it has a pretty good strong stream there. Well, that means something else locked up our brakes. So we got good pressure going all the way back. The passenger or driver side worked fine. The passenger side got hung up for some reason. Maybe I installed something wrong, or maybe it was that slack adjuster. I don't know. I don't know what happened. We're going to put another set of brake pads on and put everything back together and go from there. But tomorrow. So after further review, I was looking at it on this bigger screen, and yeah, the passenger side stream is shooting out, but not as thick of a stream as the driver's side. So I think I'm going to go ahead and replace that brake line, that T-fitting. I think they're made into one line. Just replace that just to be on the safe side, because it just doesn't look right. We're going to put the pads and check the slack adjuster, all that stuff. I don't want a repeat of what happened, so we'll give that a try. Okay, so it's the next day, and I think I solved the problem. I had to go out and get another line because the other one I had before wasn't quite right, but this appears to be the proper line. But I'll bring you in here and you can have a look and see what you think. Okay, this is the new line, and if you can look inside of there, you can see how big the hole is in the orifice. You can see right through there, no problem. If we look at this one, if it focuses, that side and this side, both sides are sort of smashed down. The brass fitting inside of there. It's like somebody used the wrong fitting on the brake line side and just smashed down the other fitting inside of the brake line. On this side, it's almost closed off. I mean, you should be able to see all the way through there, and you can't. I mean, this one you can't hardly see anything. So that was definitely restricting the pressure going in, and it would also restrict the pressure coming back. And if there was any debris or anything else that was closing it when it was coming back, then that would hang the brakes open, and I believe that's what burned up those brake pads. So once again, nice big hole on this side. So we will put the new line on, but this has been a struggle. This bolt that's on the retaining bracket, it didn't want to come off. It's stripped and it's rusted into place. That's how long this line's been in here anyway. So I kind of had to twist and break the retaining bracket off. So we'll probably be using some zip ties or something on that. I mean, this has been a real struggle. I had to snip the fitting off the other side because it was rusted into place. So this is not a fun car to work on by any means. Okay, so I got the lines back underneath of the car. Didn't go well, so we'll take a look at that real quick. I had to do some cutting and some flaring, and right here, if you can see it, I had to zip tie this guy right here because I broke that bracket. I went ahead and shortened this line a little bit so it's not so long and put a new fitting on it. But yeah, I don't feel bad about having to zip tie that because as you can see over here, somebody's already zip tied the fuel line, which is all rubber to begin with, and has a 2 hose clamps and some sort of fitting to butt that all together. So I don't feel bad about anything I do to this car. But back over here, we're going to start putting together the brake assembly. I had just put a new wheel cylinder on this side, so I had to go down and buy another new wheel cylinder. I bought some new brake shoes and some new spring hardware to put back on this side. So we're going to get this cleaned up and start putting the hardware back on this. I'm just finishing up putting these brakes together, and I'm just adjusting this out, the slack adjuster here a little bit. It was quite the hassle to put all these parts back together, especially when they're just all laying on the floor and it's been a couple weeks since they all fell out of the bottom. It's like putting together a dirty jigsaw puzzle. So I'm just going to adjust this out to where I get just a little bit of drag on the brake pads. Then we'll put it all back together and take it out for a little cruise and see how it does before we put it away for an undetermined amount of time. So I'm pretty much done driving this black car in the heat that we have been having. Just a little bit of drag there. And that should do it. That'll break in real nice, and we should be set to go again. So I'm gonna put the wheels back on this. We'll go out for a little spin and see how she acts. The car's back down on all 4 wheels, and I have taken it out to a more secluded area out in the country so we can give it a proper test drive. If anything happens to the brakes, we can just run off into a field and hopefully not crash into anything more than a cow. So let's just jump in here and give it a quick test and see if everything's good. Okay, now let's pull out here and see how she does. We're just on some backcountry roads here, and they're a little out in the middle of nowhere, so no problems there. So far so good. I'm just going to test the brakes here real quick. It pulls a little bit to the left, but that's going to be on the front brakes and not the rears. It seems pretty good, actually. It's still a little bit stiff, but we have manual brakes, so it's going to do that. But besides all that, it doesn't appear to be too bad. Giving it a couple test hits here. It just veers a little bit to the left, but not bad at all. So if I went in there and adjusted up the front brakes like I did the rears, that'd probably go away. I have never taken the front drum brakes off to see what they look like, so who knows what's going on there. But all in all, I can't complain. Just got a thumbs up from a guy driving a really nice Mercedes. That's the interesting thing about driving this car. On the outside, driving down the street, it looks really good until you crawl under the car, and then you realize that it's a total rust bucket and probably a death trap. It makes it kind of hard for me to want to sell the car because, I mean, it looks so good from the outside, and only I know what it's like on the underside. So maybe we'll hang on to it for a little while and fix a few things one piece at a time, and maybe show people that you don't have to take the entire car apart in order to restore one. You can fix up a car little by little and keep it driving. Everything works on the car as it should now. Most everything works on the car as it should now. And it's time to take this back up to Street Rat Garage headquarters and put it back into storage for a little while, because we have a new project coming in. So it's going to be a revival, and it's going to be interesting. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button real quick, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment if you like, and we'll keep doing good things. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Street Rat Garage. Until next time.